What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. We'll keep today's video short and sweet. We're going to kick things off going over the market cap of the crypto asset class, and then we're going to run through some things for XRP and HBAR.
The macro environment around custody digital assets is expected to be close to $10 trillion by the year 2030.
Okay, so we're used to hearing that number now, and that can be found on Medico's YouTube channel of the CEO of Ripple chatting with the previous, I believe, the CEO of Medico. So they say the keywords being growing institutional crypto custody market expected to reach $10 trillion by 2030. And they specifically say here institutional, so not just the crypto asset class. So what does this number mean for the entire crypto asset class? So we know looking at the total market cap of the entire crypto asset class sitting at 1.5 trillion today. The all-time high was right around $3 trillion, whereas the cycle low thus far was over 700 billion. Now, of course, we can look at the market cap excluding Bitcoin, we can look at the market cap excluding ETH, but we're just going to look at the entire market cap including all assets. So on the price chart, I plotted the cycle low, the all-time high, and then for reference, these numbers of 3 trillion, 5 trillion, 8 trillion, even 10 trillion, like the prediction by Medico. And 3 trillion, which is the all-time high of the crypto asset class, 5 trillion, and 8 trillion are part of the Fibonacci sequence. So when we look at the previous cycle and even just draw a Fibonacci retracement to see if we obeyed or respected any of these extension levels. What's really interesting is we can see the total market cap of the crypto asset class from the previous cycle high to the cycle low did a perfect 4.236 Fibonacci extension right there. And now let's look at today comparing the all-time high to the cycle low thus far. Going from the all-time high price right around 3 trillion to the cycle low thus far and just dragging all the way over. So far, we've retraced up to the 382 Fibonacci retracement, still below a bunch of retracement levels. We can see the 1618 Fibonacci extension is at 4.4 trillion. We can see 8 trillion up here, and then what would that $10 trillion valuation be? Interestingly enough, it's right before the 4.236. So I just wanted to share that because I found it interesting, and keep in mind their estimate is $10 trillion by 2030 for institutional crypto custody. So does that valuation or estimate only refer to the institutional crypto custody market or the entire crypto asset class? And I added a vertical line right here showing 2030 to compare where we're at today in 2024. What we know is we could see a lot of volatility, even comparable to previous cycles, and I would love to see other people's wave counts if you have anything for the total crypto asset class. We already know that BCG said that tokenization of global illiquid assets is a $16 trillion business opportunity by 2030. The WEF talking about 10% of global GDP, which is approximately 109 trillion today. With any success with tokenization over the coming years, we should see multiple trillions of dollars flow into crypto. Not that major crashes and black swans can't happen on the way up, but overall, I think this asset class creates another all-time high price. And the more time this takes, the longer that we're trapped in a trendless market or just ranging or even see market crashes, this creates a lot of doubt and uncertainty. And I believe the crypto asset class plays a major role in the future. In my opinion, it's a lot more like all or nothing. It's either going to have wild success or it's going to completely fail. Now, I was a young kid in the 90s, early 2000s. I don't have that perspective of witnessing the dot-com bubble completely like an adult in the industry. But every person I've spoken to that lived and worked in the industry during Web 2, they saw the bubble, they saw the rise of internet, they saw the rise of cloud. The majority have that perspective and understand these tech shifts and are bullish on Web 3. And before we dive into XRP, I like doing this with the price chart. I often like using the replay function on TradingView, but sometimes I'll even just manually look at this and imagine how I would feel psychologically holding this asset. So Bitcoin launched back in 2009, but just looking at the Bitcoin price chart on the weekly time frame over the past 10 plus years. So Bitcoin rising, 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 and then big bear market for multiple years, finally consolidating almost like a double bottom setup. Started climbing yet again, maintaining above the 21-week EMA all the way up. This was one of the biggest super cycles we've ever seen in history. If you threw $500 at some altcoin in early 2017, it would 10x, 50x, or even 100x. Then we had a major bear market. As we got this recovery, I remember the sentiment, oh, here we go, we're finally gonna rock it. Psych, consolidation, March 2020, another major crash, 2 back-to-back to completely wreck the sentiment. As we scroll over and the next bull run is beginning, this is happening. Sentiment is very low. People think there's never going to be another all-time high for Bitcoin. It's just a bubble, yada yada. What do? We get back and above the 21-week EMA into all-time highs after the Bitcoin halving. What's interesting is we came back down and did one more high with bearish divergence on the weekly time frame as well as the monthly. So the structure was a bit different than previous cycles. And thus far, over the past few years in this bear market crash, now we've had this retracement for the Bitcoin price chart. Big picture, Bitcoin and the entire asset class, if you zoom out, is in an uptrend. If we look at Bitcoin since its cycle low, it's in an uptrend. This is a bull run. But if we compare it to the previous all-time high of Bitcoin, we're still well below that. Just like if you look on the 4-hour and we're in a clear downtrend. But if we go back to the daily, we can see we're in an ascending channel and perspective is one heck of a thing. So just wanted to point that out. We can see the daily price chart has come up to the 21-day EMA. Going back to the 4-hour price chart, we can see a series of lower lows all the way down. At least here, we're having lower highs all the way up besides this recent pop up here challenging this previous high. Okay, let's run through some news for XRP. So first up, shared by RippleX Dev. In their latest edition, they do a spotlight on Web3 Auth or Web3 authentication. This is a wallet-as-a-service infrastructure provider that is transforming the landscape of self-custodial Web3 wallets on the XRP ledger. So you can read more about this at xrpl.org right within their blog. Leveraging enterprise-grade multi-party computation or MPC tech, Web3 Auth introduces a two-factor wallet setup for both Web2 brands and Web3 apps. So notice, within Web2, you typically use your email or you can sign in with a Google account or a Facebook account. With Web3, we can actually use our wallet and sign transactions or use that potentially to log in, offering a seamless and secure way for users to interact with Web3 apps and manage their digital assets. This infrastructure right here is going to be a normal part of our everyday lives in the future. So highlighting multi-party computation with the XRP ledger, a perfect match. And decentralized identity or DIDs are going to be just as important. Today, if you look on CoinMarketCap and you look at different categories for identity or digital and decentralized identity, the market cap is probably like a couple billion, and this is a multi-billion dollar market opportunity. The fraud and impersonation market alone globally is about a $500 billion market problem. And the more all of this data is operating on or between different blockchains and DLTs, the more important this data becomes. With more data, as it becomes more composable, it's also important to identify and keep it secure, but you can't keep certain information on public chains, so there has to be decentralized identity solutions. So you'll notice the XRP ledger, Hedera Hashgraph, the majority of these networks, especially L1s, and then other networks specifically focused on decentralized identity are working hard. Next up, shared by Good Morning Crypto, we can see Ripple the company is hiring a senior manager for business development in New York focused on institutional DeFi. Here's a clip they shared recently of Brad Garlinghouse commenting on the ETFs.
I think at some point, there will be a new chair of the SEC, and I think that'll be a good thing for the American people.
One, and I paraphrase here, was effectively Gary Gensler saying, just because we allowed the Bitcoin ETF, don't think we're now going to allow a bunch of other crypto assets. The second interesting thing was the price of Ether skyrocketed immediately after, on hopes that there could now next be an ETH ETF. What are the chances of that?
I think it's a certainty. I think
This year?
I'm not going to put a horizon on the time, but I think there will be other ETFs for sure.
An XRP one?
There will be other ETFs for sure.
But an XRP one?
I love this game we play. Look, I am very
That's the last time I lost.
That's fine. But look, the sad part of that reality is we have a Bitcoin ETF only because a U.S. court said to the SEC, you're being arbitrary and capricious in your application of the law. What would be sad is if every ETF had to go through that same journey and for Gary Gensler to get smacked down by the U.S. court system again.
Okay, next up, shared by Wrath Economist, so we have the Australian dollar, a 1-to-1 backed stablecoin Ripple partner Novati has made available on the XRP ledger, Ethereum, XLM, and Solana. So we can check out some of their highlights, including their pre-seed funding if you're curious. Let's run through a few more things for HBAR. There's a bunch to cover for Hedera recently, so we're going to cover them in the next few videos. First up, the Hashgraph Innovation Program partners with DigiFarm to redefine healthcare tech, an industry leader in the value-based healthcare arena. Its flagship product, called Reimburse, stands out as a pioneering value-based procurement platform which has been adopted by government clients spanning from the UK to the Middle East. And the president of the Hashgraph Association for Hedera says, we're thrilled to welcome DigiFarm to the Hashgraph Innovation Program. Pioneering the way toward value-based healthcare, this partnership will catalyze new and innovative ways to accelerate decentralized solutions on the Hedera network. We're confident that by providing the funding and support to DigiFarm will help bring the benefits of DLT to healthcare systems worldwide. Next up, between Hedera and Amplify, highlighting their partnership bringing Web3 benefits to 100,000 plus artists and their millions of fans to Hedera as they transition from Web2 to Web3. So we're going to see a lot more of this, and their goal is to redefine the music economy. Leveraging Web3 and AI, helping artists identify and connect with their top fans through exclusive token-gated experiences. and even a comprehensive fan CRM, super interesting. Merchandise and sales integrations really just bringing Web 2 to Web 3 via Web 2.5. And Hedera is doing a lot in the UAE specifically. I would just like to see them more involved with the DIFC. We had some stuff back in 2022. So the DIFC Quartz launches Tajori, the global digital vault built on Hedera. But remember a few months ago, XRP, the digital asset, was approved in the DIFC under VARA, their virtual assets regime. The DIFC is massive, 72 countries, combined population of around 3 billion people, and a nominal GDP of approximately $8 trillion. I've gone through the VARA website, the government of Dubai, trying to search for keywords like Ripple, XRP, HBAR, any asset, and network. I haven't really been able to find anything, so if you guys know an official list of digital assets that have been approved by the DIFC under the VARA or the virtual assets regime, please let me know. Because Dubai is very progressive when it comes to technology and blockchain adoption. Notice, licensed firms can now incorporate XRP into their virtual asset services. And speaking of the UAE, we have UAE-based Seagrass and the Hashgraph Association announcing the launch of a co-funded carbon credit Web3 identity wallet. Seagrass here is a subsidiary of one of Europe's largest operators of energy networks and energy infrastructure. We can also see the HBAR Foundation sharing. We're excited to welcome VR Jam in their migration from Polygon to Hedera, an array of Web3 and NFT solutions unlocking experiences in the virtual worlds of gaming, events, and entertainment. And last but not least, we have iTrustCapital linked in the top of this YouTube video description and in the pinned comment if you're interested in creating a Roth IRA in the crypto asset class. I've had a Roth IRA with iTrustCapital for 4 years now. I'm just waiting for the next bull run. If you use the link to create a free account, you get a $100 funding reward in USD. They have several dozen assets available, a bunch of them in the top 50, top 100, including XRP, HBAR, and more, with a huge benefit of 24/7, 365 trading. And for those in the traditional market buying an ETF, you have to trade only within business trading hours, typically 6 or 7 hours per day, rather than 24/7, 365. So I like having the option of having some crypto in a retirement account for tax-free gains. Feel free to check them out, linked below, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Huge thanks to all that hit the like button, and I'll catch you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit the like button, let me know your thoughts down below, and my link tree is linked in the top of this YouTube video description, with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.